So if you're thinking about moving to South Central PA and you've been contemplating it, you might be thinking, gosh, what if it's not what I hoped it would be once I get there? So we went ahead and polled a bunch of people, did some research in the real estate community, and found 8 things that people wish they knew before they arrived. So that's what this video is all about, covering the myths, the misunderstandings, and the things you wish you'd know before you move to South Central PA. Can't wait to share them with you. Stay tuned. So before we hit the 8 things, just want to cover, this channel is all about community, connection, and real estate. And that's what we're going to talk about today when we hit on the 8 things. So if you're local or thinking about moving to the area, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into it. So number 1 is the weather. There are going to be 2 things I want to talk about with the weather. One is why it's a little bit boring, and one is why it's a little bit exciting. So first, the boring part. We don't have extreme weather events very often here in South Central PA. As long as I've lived here, which is all my life, my parents, my grandparents have lived here since I think the 1930s. I don't really know of too many tornadoes, hurricane events, or even earth-moving things like earthquakes, mudslides, anything like that. So you can have a peace of mind, rest assured, there aren't extreme weather events. We do sometimes get heavy rains. It saturates the area, you get some minor flooding in certain areas, but that's about the extent of it. Now for the exciting part. So unlike many areas in the country, or as you go further north towards Canada, South Central PA does experience all 4 seasons pretty substantially. So we have 3 months roughly per season. So winter months are going to be mid-December through end of February, early March. Get some skiing in. It does get to the colder temperatures. You're usually going to find that we have 3 or 4 light snowstorms, maybe 1 heavy snowstorm per year, depending on the winter. So if you like to have a day off of school or experience some of those outdoor winter activities, you will have that here and there in South Central PA. Springtime, just a beautiful spring, a lot of wildflowers, and things really brighten up with the wildlife in the spring. And then in the summertime, you do get some hot days, a good bit of humidity in South Central PA. So sometimes you just are eager to go out in the pool or go to one of the lakes nearby to cool off. As you get into the fall season, it is beautiful. Peak fall season for autumn leaves is going to be sometime in mid-October, and it is just a really cool festive season. And as you get into the holiday season back towards Thanksgiving and Christmas time, again, it's going to cool down mid-December. And number 2. So number 2 is all about location. Here in real estate, we talk about location, 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 and a lot of people don't realize about South Central PA is that its location is incredibly unique. In fact, South Central PA is like the center of a bicycle spoke, and it is the distribution center of 5 of the largest population centers on the eastern seaboard. In fact, 2 of the largest population centers in the country. So South Central PA, you're going to find that there's a road network, a lot of distribution centers, so all of those Amazon and all of those goods and services that you get delivered to your doorstep, they are shipped and stored here in South Central PA and then distributed to those major population centers. So we're thinking about Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Philly, New York City. Now here's the thing that's going to contribute to a number of the other ones we're going to talk about today, and that's why I led with location. It's going to contribute to a lot of jobs coming into the area because of its location near those population centers, which also contributes to the growth we're going to talk about in a subsequent number. And lastly, it also contributes to how much there actually is to do. This is one of the biggest myths about South Central PA, is that it's kind of in a rural area, lower population center. Once you get here, you realize not only is there a lot to do outdoors locally, but because it is so close to those 5 distribution centers, those 5 population centers, there's a lot to do in metro areas nearby. It's just a quick hour and a half, 2.5 hour drive to a number of those different cities. So location, location, location is a big thing in South Central PA, and that contributes to a lot of the next items we're going to talk about here soon. So number 3 is about location. There's things here to do locally, but there's also things here to do regionally. Let's talk about regionally first. So again, you're near Baltimore, you're about an hour and a half away from Washington, D.C., about 3 hours away from Pittsburgh, 2 hours away from Philadelphia, about 4.5 to 5 hours away from New York City. So my family and I do a lot of traveling. One of our favorite things to do is take long weekends with the kids, and we visit those areas, go to museums, do different things in the city, and you get to visit a new city a couple times a year because you are located right central between the 5 of them. Now, locally, there's a number of things to do as well. There's a lot of outdoor activities. I'm just going to name a few on our bucket list, things that we participate in pretty often. You're going to be really close close to Hershey Park. It's a theme park locally, has Chocolate World. It was founded by Milton Hershey a long time ago. It has a school for children. It's also a nonprofit, and it's just a really good theme park that you'll love to take your family to. It has a water park built into it as well. Another thing is Gettysburg Battlefield. So if you're a Civil War buff or a history buff, there's a lot to see in Gettysburg Battlefield. Another thing is Centralia, which a lot of people even locally don't know about. I have actually been there. It is been a mine fire that was burning since 1962 or something like that. It's a very strange area. You should definitely visit it. It's been abandoned because it's burning underground, and it's been going on for like 60 years. So go check Centralia out. Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, we visit at least 4 times a year. It's one of the most beautiful places in Pennsylvania. You're gonna find that it's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive from South Central PA. And it's in an area called Pine Creek Gorge in Tioga County, and you can do a lot outdoors around the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. You can do a lot of hiking, a lot of camping, a lot of canoeing, fly fishing, biking on the rails to trails, and a lot of other stuff like that. Also, you're going to find Penn's Cave, Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water nearby. You're going to find Knoebels, which is another family theme park, and even a bed and breakfast, Omni Resorts at Bedford Springs, which we love to go to if you're looking to take your spouse on a date night. So those are some of the local and regional things that you can do, whether you're looking for something outdoors locally, something regionally in one of the metro areas nearby. All right, so number 4 is a quick one. It's all about growth. Cumberland County, South Central PA is one of the fastest growing counties in Pennsylvania. And the reason it is because something I attributed to earlier, which is that location. We're a huge distribution center, so a lot of jobs coming into the area. We also have a government present with a naval base, another military base called the Army War College. We also have a number of schools, liberal arts schools, Dickinson College, Gettysburg College, and a number of other ones. So you got a lot of jobs, government presence in the area. And again, that key location, which South Central PA is that distribution center. So we're getting a lot of growth. Cumberland County is one of the fastest growing counties, number 1 or 2 in Pennsylvania. All right, number 5 is the cost of living, something that everybody should know about. You're just thinking about how your salary transfers to another location. Is it going to cost you more to live there, more to less to live there? So South Central PA is a little bit of a lower cost of living on average. It's about 92.5 on the index compared to 100. And so you're going to find that on average, your dollar goes a little bit further here. Housing is going to be less expensive. It's about $100,000 below the average price point nationally. You're going to find that some things, like all areas, are a little bit more expensive. So things like utilities are a little bit more costly here. But housing's lower, and a number of the other things are lower. Bring that average down below the national average. And number 6 is something that is little known about South Central PA. It's something you want to put on your radar. It's something that I've lived here for 42 years, and so I'm really used to it. But it's potholes. Potholes are actually unavoidable in South Central PA. Nobody really knows why. I don't know why. There is, it's limestone soil in a lot of areas. I think that contributes to maybe some sinkholes and some earth movement. But you're going to find potholes on the roads. One of the things that I don't like about South Central PA is the roads seem like they're always under construction, because partially there is a lot of that trucking on the highways because of those distribution centers. So while the traffic isn't very intense, like in metro areas, there isn't like many lanes, and a lot of people say the traffic is non-existent in South Central PA compared to some metro areas, you do find that the roads are a little bit more bumpy, and at least what I would prefer. So number 7, let's talk about taxes here in Pennsylvania. You're going to find there's a state transfer tax on all property. So if you're a seller in the area, you're going to pay 1% of the purchase price to the state. If you're a buyer in the area, you're going to customarily pay 1% of the purchase price to the state. So its aggregate is 2% of the purchase price goes to the state. Typically, it's split between buyer and seller 1% to each. You're also going to find that there are school and local county taxes. That's going to vary depending on which county and school district you're in. So you want to talk to your local real estate agent or look locally on the tax assessment database, which you can find just by Googling the county and clicking on tax assessment database. You can look at the millage rate and estimate what roughly the property taxes are going to be. But again, you're going to pay some combination of school, county, and then sometimes, depending on the area, a municipal or local tax that's added together. And that's billed twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. That is a percentage of your property tax. The last thing is your sales tax. Here in Pennsylvania, there's a 6% sales tax on most things. There are a few things that are exempt. For example, you don't pay the 6% sales tax on food, on clothing, or on tattoo piercings or amusement parks. So those are some of the things that are excluded. So that's a little bit about taxes. number 8 here in South Central PA is there's a vast wilderness that does provide a bit of an escape. That happens to be near and dear to my heart. What you'll find in Pennsylvania is a couple things. Number 1, there's about 18 different state forests. There's a ton of state parks which offer lakes, miniature hiking trails, fishing opportunities, and concessions and bathrooms. There's also over 800 miles of wilderness trails throughout Pennsylvania, including but not limited to the famous Appalachian Trail. It goes right through the heart of South Central PA. You're also going to find in northern Pennsylvania one of the few areas left in the country without any light pollution. So if you're a stargazer and that's important to you, Tioga County or Potter County in northern PA is a great place to go. So this one's a bonus one. We didn't have 9, so we'll just call this a bonus. And it's that a lot of people don't know Pennsylvania is not actually a state. It's a commonwealth. I actually didn't know that. And what's the difference? You might ask. There really isn't any difference on how it functions. I'm sure there's some legal minutia way over my head. But as far as living here, we don't notice the difference between a state and a commonwealth. My understanding that it was named a commonwealth because it denotes a focus on the welfare of all citizens when it was founded. Another thing that you can know about Pennsylvania is that there are about 59 cities, 959 boroughs, and lastly 1,546 townships in the Commonwealth, not the state of Pennsylvania. So those are the 8 things that we wish we would have known before we moved to South Central PA. If any of those stood out to you, I'd love to hear your favorite below. Or if you're local and you have one that I missed, I'd love to hear what you wish you would have known before you moved to South Central PA. Either way, if you are local or you're thinking about moving, we'd love to keep you updated on this channel about community connection and real estate. So hit that subscribe button. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, we'd love to be your real estate team of choice. My team's been here for a long time. My family for over 80 years has been in real estate in South Central PA. So just email us at dave@davehooketeam.com. That's dave@davehooketeam.com. And we'll follow up and have a conversation and get you pointed in the right direction. Thanks for watching.